In 1961, Albert Bandura, a psychologist at Stanford University, began an unsettling investigation. How do children learn to be aggressive? Do they learn to act aggressively by watching others, or are they naturally aggressive? At the time, many people were worried about how television and movies might influence children. Violent shows were becoming more common, and Bandura wondered if watching aggressive behavior could make kids act that way themselves. To test this, Bandura created an experiment. He used a toy called a Bobo-doll, a large inflatable doll that bounces back up when hit. It had a clownish face and a bright red nose, making it eye-catching and perfect for his study. Bandura chose 72 children, boys and girls aged 3 to 6, from a nursery school at Stanford University. He split the children into 3 groups. Group 1. This group watched an adult act aggressively toward the Bobo-doll. Group 2. This group watched an adult play calmly with other toys and ignore the Bobo-doll. Group 3. This group didn't watch any adult model at all. Each child was brought into a room and introduced to an adult. In Group 1, the adults soon began to attack the Bobo-doll. They punched it, kicked it, and even hit it with a toy hammer. As they did this, they shouted things like, "Sock him in the nose," and "Pow!" In Group 2, the adults stayed calm, playing with blocks or other toys. They ignored the Bobo-doll completely. The children only watched the adult for about 10 minutes. Then they were taken to a second room filled with shiny new toys. But here's the twist. After a few minutes, the experimenter told the children they couldn't play with those toys because they were saved for other children. This was meant to frustrate the kids a little, creating a situation where they might act out. Next, the children were taken to a third room. This room had a mix of toys, crayons, tea sets, cars, and dolls, but also aggressive toys like toy guns, hammers, and of course the Bobo-doll. The children were left alone in this room, and researchers watched through a one-way mirror. What happened was shocking. The kids who had watched the aggressive adult in Group 1 quickly started to imitate what they saw. They hit and kicked the Bobo-doll, just like the adult had. Some even picked up the toy hammer and used it to strike the doll. Many of them shouted the same phrases they had heard, like "sock him" and "pow." One boy went even further. After hitting the doll, he picked up a toy gun and pretended to shoot it, even though the adult had never used a gun. This showed that seeing aggression didn't just lead to copying, it sparked new aggressive ideas. The children in Group 2, who had seen the calm adult, acted very differently. They didn't pay much attention to the Bobo-doll. Instead, they played quietly with crayons or tea sets. The kids in Group 3, who hadn't seen any adult, acted somewhere in between. Some showed mild aggression, but they didn't attack the doll as intensely as the children in Group 1. Bandura also noticed differences between boys and girls. Boys were more likely to be physically aggressive, especially if they had watched a male adult. Girls, on the other hand, imitated verbal aggression more often, particularly when they saw a female model. The results of the experiment were clear. Children learn by watching others. If they see someone act aggressively, they're more likely to act aggressively too. This finding became a cornerstone of Bandura's social learning theory, which says people don't just learn from their own experiences. They also learn by observing others. Bandura's study raised important questions about how violence in media affects kids. If just a few minutes of watching an aggressive model could influence behavior, what might hours of violent TV shows or movies do? It also showed how powerful role models can be. Children look up to adults, and what adults do, whether good or bad, can shape how children behave. So, what can we learn from this experiment? First, it reminds us to model positive behavior. If kids copy what they see, we should show them kindness, patience, and cooperation. For example, if a parent handles a stressful situation calmly, their child might learn to stay calm too. Second, we should watch what kids are exposed to in media. Encouraging nonviolent, educational shows can help promote positive behaviors. A program about teamwork or problem-solving can inspire kids to work together instead of competing or fighting. Third, it's important to talk to kids about what they see. If they watch something violent, parents can ask, "What do you think about that?" Or, "How do you think the other person felt?" This helps children develop empathy and understand the consequences of actions. Finally, we can create spaces for cooperative play. Activities like group art projects or shared games can teach kids to work together and solve problems without aggression. For anyone interested in learning more about Bandura's work, his book Social Learning Theory is highly recommended. This book explores not just the Bobo-doll experiment, but also how we learn by observing others in different settings. Bandura explains his ideas with clarity, making them accessible even to readers who aren't psychologists. It's an essential read for parents, teachers, or anyone working with children because it highlights how behavior is shaped. Understanding these concepts can help us create more positive environments for learning and growth. Ultimately, the book offers practical strategies for fostering kindness and cooperation in everyday life. The Bobo-doll experiment changed how we understand learning and behavior. It showed us that our actions, no matter how small, can influence the people around us, especially children. In the end, it's a powerful reminder that we all have the ability to shape the world around us through what we say and do. By choosing to model kindness and understanding, we can inspire others to do the same.